First, to create your stepped value scale, you're going to start with the darkest color. This is not diluted. This is straight out of the bottle from the black tempera paint that came in your kit. I'm going to use this to paint my darkest square. Next, to get the second value, add a little bit of water on my brush, use what's left on here, and I'll just kind of see how this goes for the second value. Now, if this is still too dark, I can bring it over here, add water here, and kind of mix this in the square and spread it. Here, keep adding water. Also keep in mind that this is going to dry a little bit, this is going to look a little bit darker right now because the paper is also wet. So I'm going to try to pick up a little bit of this tempera, move this around, add a little bit of black, add a little bit of water. So this should be a little bit lighter. Now all three of these are pretty dark. We want the next one to be pretty light. And it's got to blend to white. So I rinsed my brush, but not completely. So I have a little bit of gray still in my brush. And then I'm going to let this dry. So instead of mixing with white to create this gradient, or this value scale, I just used water to mix it. And this one's going to stay white. So as I let that dry, I'm going to work on this one. This one's going to be very similar, but we want it to be gradual. A gradient is gradual. So this will be black, this will be white. We want it to fade gradually, and we can use this value scale to help us. So let's start on the left with straight paint right out of the bottle. I'm going to add a little water over here, and I'm going to pull this into there. Add a little bit more water while it's wet. If I let it dry, then this won't really work. It won't mix. So I'm going to add a little more water. And as I get lighter and lighter, I have less and less black on my paintbrush. Now you can see it's already starting to get light here, and we kind of want to bring this down. So I'm going to rinse my brush. I'm going to paint just a little bit right here, and that's mostly water turning the paper gray. Get a dot of black on my brush, just kind of mix that in there. Okay. Do it again with like a little bit more. And you know what else you can do? Another tip would be you can add in your palette, you can dilute some of your paint, mix your paint together with water in here, so you can even thin it out ahead of time. So I'm going to actually go down here just to test it out and see what it looks like. It's kind of dark. I'm going to bring it over here. All right, I'm going to show you the rest of this in fast motion because I know you guys want to do this yourselves and I don't want to waste your attention. So as you're working, you can add more little by little to darken areas and then darken the parts that you need to darken. You can just keep adding to those. It's very difficult to lighten anything once it's on your paper. So you want to build from light to dark. Now, if you're using any colors in your shark, like browns or blues, and even mixed in with blacks, you can create another value scale in color to help you practice using colors to create your value scale or a gradient, whichever you want to use. So you're going to use what you learn here in this practice when you're observing the shades and the highlights that you see in the photograph of your shark, because you are painting it as well through observation by looking at it and trying to match what you see on your paper using paint.